If the mighty Achilles has finally succumbed to his own Achilles heels, what makes you think that you are not going to succumb to your own connective tissues? Welcome to Fast Track Gains. I'm here to help you accelerate your gains. And the topic of today is Achilles heel, the connective tissue part 1. What are they and why do they matter? Now, first question. Have you watched the 2004 movie Troy? The movie did not receive so much applause back then, but today, in hindsight, it was epic from so many different angles. The scenery, the background music, the dialogues, the fight between Achilles and Hector. Just a glorious production. So, if you haven't watched this movie, then you really don't know what you are missing out. And the heroic Achilles was almost invincible, killing the giant Boagrius, conquering the Trojan beach, finishing his rivalry, the Trojan prince Hector. Until he succumbed to the only weakness in his entire body, the infamous Achilles heel. Does it sound ever so familiar to so many of us gym goers? We heroic Iron Brothers are almost invincible in the face of heavy weights. We're pumped, we're hyped, we keep pushing our limits until something finally snaps on us. Joints, tendons, ligaments, collectively known as your connective tissues. And will it really surprise you that the Achilles tendon is the strongest and largest tendon in the whole body? Despite being the strongest and largest tendon in the whole body, it was still the only weakness of the demigod Achilles himself. That ought to tell you how much attention you should pay to your connective tissues. The connective tissue is one of the 4 primary types of animal tissues, along with epithelial tissue, muscle tissue, and nervous tissue. They bind structures together, form a framework and support for organs and the body as a whole, store fat, transport substances, protect against disease, and help repair tissue damage. Most types of connective tissues consist of 3 main components, namely the elastic and collagen fibers, ground substance, and cells. There are many different kinds of connective tissues, even including your blood. Yes, they're classified as connective tissues. But in the context of lifting weights, we can narrow our focus to 3 specific kinds: joints, tendons, ligaments. A joint is the part of the body where 2 or more bones meet to allow movement. For example, your shoulder joint, your elbow joint, and of course, your knee joint. A ligament is a fibrous connective tissue that attaches bone to the bone, and usually serves to hold structures together and keep them stable. A tendon is a fibrous connective tissue that attaches muscle to the bone, and usually serves to control the movement of the joint. They also help absorb some of the impact muscles take as they spring into action. Below is a very good knee joint illustration of how bones, ligaments, tendons, and muscles are all connected together. The 2 bones, femur and tibia, meet at the knee joint, and they're connected by 4 main ligaments. Anterior cruciate ligament, yes, the infamous ACL, posterior cruciate ligament, also known as PCL, the medial collateral ligament, and lateral collateral ligament. The muscle, quadriceps, and hamstrings are connected to the knee joint by tendons. So as you can see, without the assistance of connective tissues, no matter how big and strong your muscles are, you are never going to be able to make even a slight movement. Being as a muscle guy, I would like to give all the credits to muscle if I can, and gain as much muscle as possible without any downsides. Unfortunately, there are two downsides that come with extra muscle growth. Number one, your heart has to work much harder, as muscle tissue is much more metabolically active than fat, and thus requires more support from your heart. This is actually another very important point that everybody keeps shying away from, and I will make another future video just to address this very important point. Number two, your connective tissues have to keep up with the muscle tissue, as stronger muscle tissues require stronger tendons and ligaments to prevent injuries. While you can definitely strengthen your heart by doing more cardio to keep up with the extra workload demand by the extra muscle mass, there is no easy way for the connective tissue to keep up with muscle in terms of strength. And this point has been made very clear in the below episode on Andrew Huberman's YouTube channel by Dr. Andy Galpin.
Connective tissue is not the same way. And so we do see adaptations with strength training in connective tissue. It's just much lower. It's difficult to measure.
So, given the truth that your connective tissue grows nowhere near as fast as your muscle tissue does, it is not surprising to see that the majority of injuries actually result from connective tissue tear, in particular the tendons, rather than the actual muscle tear. And if you refer back to the anatomy and function of connective tissues that I was talking about just a minute ago, part of the function of tendons is they help absorb some of the impact muscles take as they spring into action. This perfectly explains why tendons are much more likely to be torn. Your muscles may be strong enough to handle the weight, but your tendons are not, and then snapped. Injury happens, and you cannot train for weeks or even months. You lose all your muscle gains, and you may even start to regress. That's why here at Fast Track Gains, we place even higher emphasis on your joints, tendons, and ligaments than your muscles. And this means, although I referenced it many times in my previous videos, I have to say it one more time here again. It is only a pity that too many people take it only as a funny joke. Until they sustain a serious injury, then they finally realize this is actually the harsh reality. In addition to injury prevention, connective tissues also contribute to weight training by providing passive joint stability and elastic energy. So, if you really care about your muscle growth, then I would suggest that you pay serious attention to your connective tissues. They're literally the Achilles heel of your whole training program. Very, very important, but also very, very fragile. So, are there any methods to preserve your connective tissues? That's an excellent question. That would be the part 2 of the conversation. Please stay tuned. Thank you for watching this video, and please remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel. And I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.